of this garbage coming out of the mouths of Democrats, it's not true.
America, the media is at it again, spreading fear and misinformation about Medicaid cuts that simply aren't happening. Meanwhile, President Trump just signed an executive order to slash prescription drug prices, something Democrats have claimed they wanted for years, but now President Trump is actually doing it. Suddenly, they're against it. The hypocrisy is unbelievable.
Not cutting Medicaid at all. Medicaid's still going to grow by 25%, and that's the big lie that the Democrats are telling. They've got all these people ginned up thinking they're going to lose their Medicaid coverage, and the fact of the matter is no one who is legally eligible to be on Medicaid will have their Medicaid denied.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Today, we're diving into the truth about Medicaid funding and Trump's bold move to finally tackle prescription drug prices, something America has been begging for. Let's start with the fear-mongering about Medicaid cuts. The media is running wild with stories about how Republicans are slashing Medicaid and throwing millions of Americans off of health care. But here's what they're not telling you. Medicaid spending is actually set to increase by 25% over the next decade.
No one who is legally eligible to be added to Medicaid will be denied. So in terms of the overall bill, I think there's more work to be done.
What's actually happening is that Republicans are trying to implement common sense reforms like work requirements for able-bodied adults and measures to prevent fraud, waste, and abuse. These aren't cuts. They're actual efforts to make sure that the program is sustainable and focused on helping those that actually need help.
Dagan, in those expansion states where you've got able-bodied adults who should be in the workforce, if they go to the doctor on their Medicaid, for every dollar that the expansion state puts in, the federal government will pay them $9. If it was a pregnant woman or a disabled elderly person, somebody like that who should be on Medicaid, it's $1.37 or $1.32 actually.
This is a critical point that the media is completely ignoring. Under Obamacare's Medicaid expansion, the federal government pays 90% of costs for able-bodied adults, but only 50 to 77% for those that are truly vulnerable, like pregnant women, children, the elderly, and disabled Americans. How is this fair? The current system actually incentivizes states to prioritize able-bodied adults over those who truly need help. Now, I understand why people are concerned. When they hear stories like this, it's easy to worry.
I've been dealing with most of this, my whole life.
24-year-old Yoli De Leon Beltran has been coping with chronic health issues affecting her joints and nervous system since she was a child, which requires a lot of medication.
Overall, it's about 30.
30 medications?
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yes. Yes.
How do you pay for all of this?
I am very fortunate that I have Medicaid.
Stories like Yoli are exactly why we need to strengthen Medicaid, not weaken it. And that's precisely what these reforms aim to do, ensure that people like Yoli who genuinely need assistance can continue to receive it, while making sure the program isn't being abused by those who could actually be working. The Congressional Budget Office has estimated that some people would lose coverage under the proposed changes. But let's be clear about who would be affected. Primarily able-bodied adults who choose not to meet the work requirements, not vulnerable populations.
There's tremendous amounts of evidence out there that shows that the government is in fact paying people not to work. Phil Graham did a great book on this, and he showed that if you added up all of the transfer payments and everything that people get, they're making almost $50,000 a year not to do anything.
Now let's talk about President Trump's bold move to tackle prescription drug prices. Just this week, he signed an executive order giving pharmaceutical companies 30 days to lower prescription drug prices or face new limits on what the government will pay.
And drug makers have 30 days to lower the cost of prescription drugs in the United States or face new limits over what the government will pay. President Donald Trump signing a sweeping executive order on Monday calling on the health department led by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to broker new price tags for drugs.
This is a huge deal. Americans pay 2.78 times more for prescription drugs than other developed countries. This is outrageous. And Trump is saying enough is enough.
The order potentially tying the price the government pays for some drugs to lower prices paid by other countries.
Starting today, the United States will no longer subsidize the health care of foreign countries.
For years, Democrats have been talking about lowering drug prices, but they never had the courage to take on Big Pharma. Now Trump is doing exactly what they claimed they wanted, and suddenly they're finding reasons to oppose it. The hypocrisy here is absolutely stunning. Now let's remember why we're even having these discussions. Obamacare was supposed to fix our healthcare system, but it was a complete disaster. Insurance premiums skyrocketed, deductibles became unaffordable, and millions of Americans lost the plans and doctors that they actually liked. Even Bernie Sanders, the champion of government healthcare, admits Obamacare isn't working.
You know, I want to find a solution to this. I want every American to have insurance. President Trump wants every American to be insured and have access to health care. The question is, how do we get there? Obamacare is not working. It is not working. And this is the...
Sorry to interrupt you. All right. The reconciliation...
My job is to try to make it work.
All right, I have limited time.
Even Bernie Sanders acknowledges that Obamacare is failing. You know, we have a serious problem, and yet Democrats continue to defend a broken system while they oppose common sense reforms. The most frustrating part about all of this is watching Democrats oppose Trump's prescription drug plan when they've been demanding action on drug prices for years. Bernie Sanders himself has been calling for lower drug prices.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me stop going back to prescription drugs. Mr. Secretary, did I hear you correctly to state that your goal is to have Americans pay the lowest prices in the world or equivalent to what is paid in other major countries? That is my goal.
So when RFK says his goal is to have Americans pay the lowest drug prices in the world, that should be something Democrats celebrate. Instead, they're finding ways to criticize the plan simply because it's coming from the Trump administration. It's not about healthcare, it's about politics. Democrats would rather see Americans continue to struggle with high drug prices than give Trump the win. It is shameful. So what's the truth here? Medicaid isn't being cut. It's growing by 25%. The reforms being proposed are designed to strengthen the program by focusing resources on those who truly need it, rather than an able-bodied adult who could actually be working. And Trump is taking bold action to lower prescription drug prices, something that both parties have claimed they wanted for years. If the Democrats were sincere about helping Americans afford their medications, they'd be supporting this effort, not opposing it. The bottom line is this: don't believe the fear-mongering. The changes being proposed to Medicaid are about making the program stronger and more sustainable, not cutting it. And Trump's prescription drug plan is exactly what Americans have been asking for. Let me know what you guys think about these healthcare reforms. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.